morning, everybody. It is 20 to 9 in the morning. I am just now on my way to work because Oscar this morning decided he wanted to be a bit of a jerk and not go potty. So let's hope that in the next couple of hours while I'm at work, he does not make a mess in the house. Today I am starting this vlog because yesterday I totally forgot that I was filming it all because the last couple days have been a little kind of crazy. I did decide though ultimately last night about halfway through the Atlas 6 to DNF it completely, which is kind of upsetting because I was really excited to read this. I had thought that I was gonna really like it, that I thought it was gonna be really fun, and for the first like 100 pages it was really fun. But past that point, not so much. It was not as enjoyable as I had wanted it to be. The characters really started to become less and less interesting. There wasn't really many stakes involved in the story because like past a certain point, it's not so much about like saving the school or protecting it. It's more of like the characters kind of trying to band together for some other reason, and like they're trying to figure each other out, which granted makes sense because like there's only supposed to be 5 of them that are supposed to continue past this first year. But one of the things about it that I really just disliked was the fact that it became so slow and so disinteresting that I just, by the time I hit about 175, was basically done with it. I didn't really feel any draw to continue with it, and I was just so bored. So I decided to ultimately DNF it, and it was one of my Wheel of D20 reads. It was my only read for the Wheel of D20 this month, but because I ended up DNFing it past the 25% mark, it does count for the Wheel of D20 per the rules that are established with my game, which you can find out that information by watching. I want to say it is this year's first Wheel of D20. I think that's the first time we did that, or might have been February. I can't remember, but one of the first ones from this year, I think I mentioned it. If not, I'll make sure that when I start up the new round in February, that is a point to bring up, is the fact that DNFs do count as long as you end up doing it after the 25% mark. Like I said, I was about halfway through the book before I decided I was gonna stop reading it. And it was also one of my most anticipated reads for the year, so I was even more disappointed that I ended up not enjoying it. And none of the pages will count to my overall total for this month because I ended up DNFing it, so I don't count any pages or minutes for books I DNF. So like the Governess game, the audiobook I listened to, I'm not going to count the minutes toward, and the Atlas 6, I'm not going to count the pages for. Do that because it doesn't make sense to count any books that I don't complete to my overall total for the month. They do basically still get mentioned in my wrap-ups, but they don't count toward like the finished total of all the books that I completed in the month. Like that's just kind of how I do it. It makes the most sense to me to have the page count and minute count total for the month be for things that I specifically completed, because the rest of my stats are for the books I basically completed this month. And then in terms of star ratings, I do then have something where it's like, oh, these ones I had this many DNFs in this month, because they're not completed, so they don't count toward those completed books stats. So last night though, I did start my first book for December's Finisher DNF series because I started November's at the beginning of this month since I didn't have time to in November to read it, but DNF the last series. So the Finisher DNF series for this month is the Green Creek series by TJ Klune, the first book being Wolfsong. Now I'm not very far into it. I only read probably about like 15 to 20 pages last night, and I have the ebook through my Libby app, and I have to read it on my phone because I don't have the ability to get Libby on my Kindle. So this is like a very odd setup where like the Libby app basically has it where the book is twice as long as it normally would be because of the fact that like you're having to click through more pages because the screen of your phone is so much smaller. So that makes it so that the book is like almost 1,000 pages as opposed to like almost 500, you know. So anyway, I don't really know exactly how far into it I am because the Libby app has it very differently than like you would be able to read it on Kindle. So far it's not too bad. The most I can understand of it is that really at this point, because there's not really much plot that's been developed, is that it's about a young boy named Ox, full name Oxnard, who at the very beginning, at the age of 12, his father basically packs his stuff and leaves, leaving his mother and him by themselves. And it's basically starting off where like you see his adolescence, where he has to basically get a job at the age of 13 to be paid under the table so that he can provide for his mom, who is now being a single mother, having to work a ton and barely able to make bills and stuff like that. And he ends up becoming a car mechanic because that was what his dad did and he really liked it. His dad had taught him a lot of things by the time he had left, and it was something he had honestly really enjoyed, and kind of is something that he thinks will eventually make his dad proud if his dad ever does come back. And you can see very clearly that like this is a kid that like probably gets bullied a lot. There's a lot of talk in the book at first about how he's really quiet and a lot of people don't like that, and so he gets bullied a little bit in school. But being at the mechanics shop, Gordo's, is really his place where he shines, because that's where, like, you know, he really has been involved in since he was a little kid. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna go into my Finish Your DNF video. So I am gonna basically continue with that one as much as I can. I again think that this may be something where I might DNF it because I just don't know if I care for the writing style for this as much. Which is kind of sad because I do want to read TJ Klune's other books, which are like The House of the Cerulean Sea and a couple other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know he's got a lot of other books that I probably like would really enjoy because I've heard a lot of people say that they're books that they think I would enjoy. But this one, I just don't know if it's I have to get used to the writing style still, or if it's just not something I'm going to gel with, because I mean, again, I'm only probably like 15 to 20 pages into the book, so it's not too much, but so far it's interesting, and the plot that I had seen on Goodreads is something I would be interested in, but it's very vague too, so I don't really 100% know like whether or not I'm going to enjoy it. Like, all I can say is that I think that this is supposed to be a shape-shifting story, and I think it's also, if I'm not mistaken, a male-male romance in some capacity. Like, there's a male-male romantic plot. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what I remember people saying about this story. So I don't know. But otherwise, for going on for this week, I'm just working like normal. This weekend, I may be going to see my sister with my mom on Sunday. I don't really 100% know, because my mom said something about the idea of going to see her possibly, but it's going to really depend on whether or not, first of all, if my mom is up to going by the time this weekend rolls around, and secondly, if my dad ends up going, because we have this kind of thing where sometimes my dad doesn't end up going on trips because he has been, honestly, this fall been dealing with a lot of health related issues. Like, he's had massive headaches and migraines for like, you know, up to like a month basically so far this season. And so it's very much hit or miss whether or not he will feel well enough to want to go. And so a lot of times, especially if my mom goes to visit my sister, who lives a good couple hours away, I usually will join in just for the ride so that my mom's not driving by herself and, you know, has somebody to talk to. And I also like to just go and visit my sister when I can, because my sister and I are very close, as you guys may know. So anyway, that's kind of what I am planning on for this week, because I work the rest of this week through Saturday, and then Sunday is starting my weekend with my new schedule with work and stuff. Work so far is going really well. I actually am going to be ending up going into a kind of social media role here when things are finished up in terms of our website, because we are doing a lot of stuff for our website right now. So I think that starting probably beginning of the year, I'm going to be transitioning into more of a social media based role, which is going to be really, really fun. I'm very excited for that because it's going to entail a lot of content creation on my part. Also, a lot of collaboration with a social media manager that we are going to be hiring to help with not just the creating of the content, but setting up the way that the content is produced and also the promotion of that content, as well as basically having a lot of collaboration with my boss on the types of content we're going to put out. Like we were talking yesterday about TikToks, and she thought it would be really fun to like get involved on some trends so that, you know, we could like tailor them to the esthetician office. And I'm like, oh yeah, people do that like all the time. And I was talking to her a lot about doing things like branding of herself, where it's a lot of content involving showcasing her personality and making her more approachable as the lead artist and CEO of the company, and, you know, like really getting people to understand her personality and getting people to like get to know her before they actually come in for anything like a consultation or a service of any kind. And so she's really excited about that. But a lot of what we have to do first is actually getting the website finished up, because we still have a lot of things, especially on like our homepage, that we have to get all squared away. We have people that we've outsourced to get that taken care of, because there's only so much that myself and my coworker can do, because in reality, in this office, there's only 4 of us, and that's me, my coworker that I got hired in with, my boss, the CEO, and then our other brow artist. Like, those are the only people that are involved in this office right now. And once the website gets finished up, and then we can boost our ads again and get more people coming in on a regular basis, we're gonna then be hiring other artists and technicians that we can use. So like, we're planning on getting a new lash technician, because we used to have one who then had to move, which is why she's no longer there. And so now we're thinking that like one of the first people we're going to hire, besides like our social media team and stuff like that, is going to be a new lash technician, so that we can start providing things like lash extensions and stuff that we used to do apparently, but had to stop doing because that old technician had to leave. So yeah, that's basically all I've got for right now. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm stuck behind this train, and start filming my finisher DNF video for this month, because I do need to get that started, and I have no idea how long I'm going to be here by this train, so we'll see. Hey guys, so it is currently going on 7:30 in the evening on Thursday, December 8th. I have 2 things I need to talk to you guys about. First of which being that I did end up DNFing Wolfsong by TJ Klune. This was a book I was going to do for my Finisher DNF series that was recommended to me by Issa. I didn't like this really at all. I tried, I really did. I got 10%, and I just gave up on it because I honestly just couldn't deal with the writing style. And I don't really know whether or not TJ Klune is going to be for me. It's kind of one of those things where like, this is the first book like that I've read of them, similar to like how I felt with Tessa Dare. So I don't know, I'm going to try his other books and other series and see what I think of them, but this was not it for me. So DNF'd that. So I'm now on my 3rd DNF already this month, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Also, I just realized I didn't think to mention, I got my eyebrows done at work today. One of the perks of working in a esthetician office and a place where they specifically do waxes is I got my brows done for free from my boss. And I'm really excited because they look so good. I haven't had my eyebrows done in like a year, I think. I already feel like so much more confident with them. They look so good. And like, this job I have is going to be so cool too, because I'm also going to be able to do a lot of stuff for like discounted or for free, basically, because it's kind of like free advertising for my job. The second thing I was going to go over is the fact that I totally forgot that the Magical Readathon was doing a week-long readathon, or like 9-day readathon basically, over the course of December, starting tomorrow. And I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for me to get some of my other books I wanted to read this month involved, because at this point, besides the book for the Brandon Sanderson read-along, which is Rhythm of War for this month, I can pretty much read more of my anticipated reads from the year, because I want to wait to start Rhythm of War until I get the audiobook, which I should be getting it for a credit through Audible, because I did get the Audible trial period basically there was a deal where they were doing like $5 a month basically for the 4 months. And so I have to wait for my credit to come in to be able to get the audiobook for that one. But before that, I figured I would get started with this little readathon and do some additional reading. So basically the idea with the Lightfall Readathon is that you can do it a couple different ways. You can either basically roll a 6-sided die, which then determines which of the stores that you go into that are in the pass, which, like, I'll leave the information for this all down in the description if you have never heard of this readathon or anything like that. It's part of the Aurelium world building stuff that's been going on with Magical Readathon for the last year and a half, something like that. Or you could basically do it in order where, like, you start at one place and end at the other. I'm gonna try to go to every store because this is basically an idea of, like, your character gets to go to do Christmas shopping and stuff like that. And my character, Kaylin, wouldn't necessarily be going Christmas shopping. She's very much a loner kind of character, so she doesn't really have anybody to shop for. But she definitely would take this opportunity with the deals to, like, stock up on stuff for school. So this would be, like, the perfect opportunity to get, like, you know, new books and new quills and all that stuff. And maybe even a little animal companion on top of the companions she already developed in an earlier part of the story. Like, she's a horse. But she might maybe find another animal companion or something like that. Like, we'll see. But basically what I would think is that she wouldn't really know where to start, so she kind of would just go to the middle of the town where there is this, like, little randomizing portal that is explained in the video that G from Book Roast had made for the readathon, and it basically allows you to just go wherever it takes you. And so for that, you have to roll a 6-sided die for that. So I can't really show it very well on this camera because this is my phone I'm filming from, since my actual camera's batteries are both dead, so whatever. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to basically pull up a dice thing, and we're gonna see what I end up getting. Okay, so I just pulled up one through calculator.net, and I only want to use one dice. So we are going to basically see what we end up getting, which the first one I get is a 5. So a 5 takes me to the Occult Premonitions store, which is a general store for magical goods. So here she basically would just get a bunch of, like, little things that she needs. So this is to read a science fiction as, like, the main prompt, which I don't think any of the books I already had slated for with this are a science fiction, because I'm just going off of my anticipated reads for the year. So none of those will work. So I guess for a science fiction, I could do something really, really simple. Maybe I'll start Red Rising finally. I've been meaning to read this one for a while. It's not any of the books that I wanted, but it is what it is. And I could probably find the audiobook for this a lot easier through, like, Scribd or Libby than I would most of the other books I had planned, because I'm fairly certain that none of the books that I have on my anticipated list have audiobooks that I'm able to get through Scribd or Libby or anything. So I think that might be what I do, is I might just pick up Red Rising and see what I think about it, because this is another series I've been wanting to start for a while. It's one of the most popular science fiction stories I've heard of, and I've heard it compared a lot to the way that the Hunger Games is set up. Like, it's the Hunger Games in space kind of thing, and I enjoyed Hunger Games. So I guess let's see how this one goes. I guess we'll start with that. Why not? I have nothing else that I can really read right now until Rhythm of War, and that's more of a fantasy than anything else too, so I guess let's just pick up something new. And of course, I can't actually get the audiobook for those. It's not available on Scribd, and it's not available through my library with Libby. Great. So basically that means I'm just gonna have to read it physically. It's a short book, but I would much rather have something that's an audiobook, because I like having an audiobook to listen to, like, on my drives to and from work, and then on my walks with Oscar. And I can get through them a lot faster than I can a physical book anymore, because of the fact that I don't have as much time to read anymore as I used to. But I don't know, it's just after 7:30. I could at least start it and get through probably about 100 pages before I go to bed tonight. and then I'd be like a third of the way through it. And at the very least, if nothing else, I can read it and DNF it if I don't like it. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to hit all 6 places, which one of them you technically don't have to hit. It's more of like, it's a vibe place. It's the pigeon pub thing. Like basically this is a place where like it's not meant to be anything. It's kind of like a free space, if you will. So I really only have to hit 5 of the 6 places, but I kind of want to see if I can get all 6. And if I get any doubles, that's fine. I'm not gonna like have a punishment or anything, but I want to try to aim to get to all 6 places at least once. Anyway, I'm gonna head out for tonight and go edit this video, and I will see all of you guys hopefully sometime tomorrow, if not maybe Saturday. Good morning, guys. It is going on, I think, 10 to 9 in the morning on Saturday. I have just gotten to work and I'm just waiting on somebody to open up the office because this building normally is not open on like Saturdays. Like nobody else really is here except for us. So I'm just waiting for somebody to get here so that they can, open up the office and everything for me so that we can get started for this morning. It is my normal day where I can actually get out at 5 or close to 5. And I'm kind of happy about that because yesterday was a really rough day for me at the office. I had a really hard time with everything. I don't know what was going on, but I think with the full moon coming in, it like caused all kinds of issues for me yesterday. Like I just, like there were things I didn't really know, so like I couldn't like necessarily like do things at the time that made sense, because like mistakes I made were because I didn't know better, which is fine. Like I'm still, you know, fairly new to a lot of this stuff. There's some things that I haven't really done yet. But it was rough yesterday. And so last night I decided to join in on my friend Brandy's sprints so that I could do something. But I couldn't really read too much. I started Red Rising last night and got through like the first 3 chapters, and I like it so far. But I'm not necessarily like enthralled by it as of yet. I only just started it though, so I still have some time to like really figure it out, but I'm interested enough to keep going past the 10% mark, which I will be hitting like fairly soon. So that's the only thing though, is that like I've been working on, but I couldn't really focus last night because I was still just really reeling from yesterday, and so I only got through like almost 30 pages. But I did just see somebody pull up that is going to let me into the office, so I do need to go. But I am hoping to get through more of Red Rising tonight and over the course of this weekend, because I think tomorrow I'm going to go see my sister with my mom, because I could really use some time with my mom and my sister. But I think that I should be able to get through another good chunk of Red Rising tonight if I just sit down and focus and not really do anything else this evening. So that's the plan for tonight, and then hopefully by the end of the weekend get Red Rising finished up, and we'll kind of go from there. So I will see all of you guys later today. Hey guys, so it is after 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. I keep forgetting to charge my camera batteries, and so I just plugged in one of the batteries I have right now, but, whoop, sorry, just hit the desk. I am actually today going to be going out with my parents to go visit my sister, because my sister has officially graduated from college, which is so awesome. So today though, what I'm doing first off is Robert has taken Oscar out on his morning walk before I head out. My mom and dad should be heading out here real soon. And I am getting some stuff prepped for when I come back tonight. I'm not sure when I'm going to be back, but I do know that more than likely by the time I get back, my husband's going to be gone, because he's actually going to go visit his parents tonight and go play cards with them. So I think I will have the house to myself tonight to do some filming. I don't have too much I need to film though. I really just need to film one video, which will be going out the week that this video goes out. It'll be out on Saturday. And then I have one more video that I have to wait until tomorrow to film, because it is the announcement for the next round of Battle of the Bookish, which I am meeting with Adri and Liv tomorrow to figure out some of the last minute details with that, make sure that we have everything that we need before I film that announcement so that I can get that out on Wednesday, which I'm very excited for. We are really excited, especially with how the week-long readathon did in October, that like this next round is going to be really, really fun, I think. So I'm very excited for how that's going to go. And we're going to kind of just keep trucking along. So I did decide months ago that I was going to take the last 2 weeks of December where I was going to be putting out a video almost every single day, if not every day. And that's the goal, is to do every day starting from the 19th all the way to the end of the year. But that process is not going to get started till next week, where I'm going to be filming next Sunday a bunch of the videos that are going to be going out that week. And then the Sunday following, I will film the rest of the videos I have to film for that week, along with these kind of more Vlogmas vlog kind of things. So I haven't done much reading since I last talked to you at all, really. Yesterday was a really rough day for me at work. The last 2 days of my week was really, really bad. Like, my anxiety was through the roof. It was just not a very pleasant experience the last couple of days. I got home and I slept from about 7:30 at night to about 10:45 and then went back to sleep. And I stayed asleep until about 9:15 this morning. That is how mentally exhausted I was from the last 2 days. But I just saw Oscar and Robert head up to the door, so I'm going to go, and I'll talk a little bit more in just a little bit. I got home from hanging out with my parents and my sister today about just after 6 o'clock, and I just sat down for the last hour and a half basically and relaxed and decompressed from the day. So it was really fun hanging out with my sister. We did a little bit of last minute Christmas shopping for my parents, mostly because my mom needed to get a couple things for some family. I had to get Robert a couple pairs of jeans because some of his jeans are all ruined from work and stuff, and I ended up getting a copy of Firekeeper's Daughter for my grandma, so that was a successful trip. And then I also got this little oil burner thing from this really pretty little store, kind of metaphysical store, but it was more also catered to Native American arts. They had a lot of Navajo artist pieces in there, which is really, really pretty. But I just got a little soapstone looking oil burner, which actually kind of matches my soapstone mortar and pestle that I have, which is really cute. I love when things kind of match. So now I'm going to sit and decompress by reading. I still want to get through more of Red Rising tonight. I'd like to get through a good chunk of it today, or at least see whether or not I want to continue with it. And I just really need a nice break. I was going to go get groceries today when I got back, but Robert ended up taking my car to go to his dad's to go play cards with his family, and he took Oscar as well, so I have the entire house to myself for pretty much probably most of this evening. He is going to come back, though, because he does have to work tomorrow, and then tomorrow we have our second training with our trainer for Oscar, which is going to be really exciting because he's already been making a lot of improvement in the last week. And I have therapy tomorrow as well, and I have to meet with Adrian Liv for Battle of the Bookish stuff. So it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow, and then I still also have to edit stuff, but I figured that I would take some time to decompress for the next few hours by doing some reading, which I've been wanting to do for days now and feel like I haven't really been able to do, because even when I tried to read Friday night when I was on sprints with my friend Brandy and our friend Adrian, I didn't have the mental capacity to read much because I was so emotionally drained from work that day, and then yesterday was also kind of rough. Everything's fine, the job itself is fine, it's just, it was really hectic the last couple of days, and there's been a lot of things that we've been trying to do, that we've been trying to finish, and it's been hard, just a lot of stuff kind of was piling on top of each other basically, and so it just kind of all came to a head the last couple of days. So I just was really emotionally wrung out from those 2 days of work. So now that I feel better, and especially now that I decompressed from going out with my family, I'm going to sit and do some reading of Red Rising. And as I do that, I'm actually going to be filming another read with me video, where it's going to be another one of those timer videos. I'll let you guys know, hopefully before I go to bed tonight, where I get to with Red Rising. I'm currently on chapter 4, which is on page 28. My goal is I would like to get to maybe 150 before I go to bed tonight.
But who knows? This book might fly by a lot quicker than I thought. I was really enjoying at least the first few chapters, so I think that this is going to be a winner for me, which is good. I'd like to end this vlog on a better note with a good book, as opposed to how the rest of this week had been with, you know, DNFs and then work being crazy and stuff like that. So I just kind of want to end this on a good note and then go into next week feeling 10 times better than how I ended the week. So anyway, I'm going to catch up with you guys a little bit later, so I will see all of you guys whenever I decide to update you. Hey guys, so it is just now 2:15 in the afternoon. I read about almost 40 pages last night and did not read any more. I was, again, kind of tired. I went to sleep last night at about, I don't know, 10:30. And then today's been very crazy. I had to go and get groceries this morning. I sat with Adrian Liv and went through Battle of the Bookish stuff, so I think after Oscar's training today, I'm going to film that video for the announcement to put out on Thursday and other stuff. And Oscar has training in about 45 minutes, so I have to prepare for that. And I was just on the phone with my husband for a little bit, so I gotta get all ready for Oscar's training today. And then after that, probably, like I said, film the announcement video, get some video stuff prepared to edit, and maybe edit a little bit before dinner. And then tonight, Robert and I are having a movie night. But I'm going to end this vlog here. This whole week has just been kind of weird. It's not been the best week. I had therapy earlier today too, and I talked through some of the stuff that went on Friday and Saturday, and it's just been, I think, an emotionally draining week this week. But I am hopeful that next week will be better. You know, and I hope that, especially with the holidays, things kind of start to work itself out, because I have to work next week, and then the week after is a full week except for Saturday, because Saturday is Christmas Eve, and so that's going to be interesting. I'm also, though, next week going to be doing a lot of pre-filming for the last 2 weeks of December, so that I can have a lot of content coming out over the course of the last 2 weeks of the month. Thank you all so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys.